We should recall that at this point, the emphasis we place on the figurative or connotative nature of the language of poetry is our consideration of several definitions of the genre in the first video. Among other points, we stress that poetry communicates experiences in language, deliberately selected and arranged by the poet to create specific emotional as well as intellectual responses through meaning, sound, and rhythm. This deliberately contrived and suggestive language of poetry is achieved mainly through some figurative usages, among which are irony, paradox, metaphor, simile, personification, metonymy, and synecdoche, which we shall discuss in this video. Irony. Irony is a figurative statement that expresses the exact opposite of what the speaker or the poet means. Here, we divide irony into three, namely, verbal irony. When a speaker says the opposite of what he means, that is verbal irony. Dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is the irony of words in which the readers and the audience have a full understanding of the events while the characters in the story are oblivious of it. Situational irony. Situational irony is the irony of something happening that is different from what was expected. Paradox. Paradox is a statement or expression which at first seems to be contradictory or senseless, but which on further or closer examination contains much truth. As a poetic device, it usually contains an element of surprise or shock that reveals the potential of words in poetry and literature in general. The truth that is contained in paradox is often realized against a religious or philosophical background. For example, the concept of the fortunate fall, as expressed by the medieval lyricist, when taken literally does not make apparent sense. But when read against the biblical background of the man's fall from divine favor in the Garden of Eden, it conveys the truth of the interplay of the fall and advent and mission of Christ on earth. The truth that transforms an apparently unfortunate fall or disfavor into a fortunate ascendancy is that it provides the necessity for the redemptive career of Christ. Similarly, the paradox that runs through John Donne's sonnet, "Death, be not proud," can only be fully appreciated against an understanding and acceptance of the religious concept that death is a terrible end out of a person's ontology. That death is a needful interlude between a person's existence in this world and his transition into the next world. Metonymy. Metonymy involves the use of an object or idea to stand for or signify some other things, but which is not necessarily an integral part of it. This type of figure we commonly speak of the king as the crown, an object closely associated with kingship, but not an organic part of the person or the king or royalty. Other examples of metonymy are: after much strife on the street, the Green Berets were called to handle the situation. Here, the Green Beret signifies or stands for the soldiers. 2. The man who lives across the street goes after anything scat in the neighborhood. Here, anything scat or scat stands for female. Synecdoche. Synecdoche is a figure of speech in which a person, place, or thing is made to stand for the whole, or the whole is made to stand for the part being the thing. You should know that, as in the metonymy, this figure works on the basis of association or relationship. But unlike the metonymy, however, the part is an integral part of the whole, as the whole is often a whole because it subsumes the parts. In addition, for the synecdoche to be effective and clear, it must be based on an important or a main part of the whole and should be manifestly associated with the topic being discussed or in focus, as in the example below. More hands are needed to execute the task. Here, more hands stand for workmen. Simile. Simile is the figure of speech in which two things or actions are directly compared because of some inherent qualities they share in common, although they may be totally different in other respects. The term hints at the similarities or similitude that underlies the natures of the two objects or action being compared, and which are normally linked by the operative word like or as. As in metaphor, the ability of a poet or writer to see and effectively establish similitude in a simile in two patently dissimilar things is considered a mark of genius as long as the comparison remains fresh and striking. Consider the following examples and try your hands on as many fresh and striking examples as possible. 1. The youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew. 2. My love is like a red rose that is newly sprung in June. 3. I cannot sleep, but my head just stops like a broken down car. Metaphor. A metaphor is a contracted simile whereby two similar entities are implicitly equated with one another, thus dispensing with the comparative words like and as. The simile above can be contracted into metaphors as follows. The youthful hue is morning dew. My love is red rose that's newly sprung in June. My head is a broken car. Personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which inanimate objects, animals, or abstract ideas are endowed with human form, character, or sensibilities. Thus, to personify an object or thing is to attribute to it human life or feelings. Hees and Lawton describe it as another kind of image where the something concrete relates to human beings, while the something else is not human. A popular example of personification in English poetry is found in William Shakespeare, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" Let's look at this line. Summer's lease has all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. Viewers, if you have enjoyed this video, please kindly subscribe to our channel and share this content with your friends out there. We shall meet in the next episode. Bye for now.